Hey everyone, welcome to my tutorial on how to RNG Pokemon channel gift Jirachi. This is a public guide, so you don't need any private tools for it. The only downside is that the private tools are a little more expansive in terms of retail RNG anyway. You're not going to be able to do any of the paint stuff I talked about in that guide, and you're not going to be able to do a few other spreads. I think all possible spreads are still potentially hittable, but it's just some are very difficult to hit without paint or the like. With that said, I'm going to go over a few prerequisites you're going to need before you actually start this RNG. So out of game, you're going to need a few different tools. You're going to need the most recent version of Pokefinder. Right now it's 2.5.1. So if you're watching in the future, any version past that should do just fine. You're going to need XDSeed by Jinzaru. This is the only Japanese program we'll need, and you're going to want to go to the fourth tab from the left. So this is the leftmost tab. You're just going to want to do 1, 2, 3. So third or fourth, depending on how you count, but that's fine. And then last but not least, you're going to need this tool called Jirachi Advancer. This is a custom tool by Admiral Fish for Jirachi RNG abuse. So those are the only tools you're going to need. Oh, and a calculator and some sort of small timer will do. You don't need like a super precise timer, but just like your phone's timer will work. Make sure to keep that on hand. Out of game, you're going to need a copy of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. The save file must have entered the Hall of Fame, and it must also match the language you have set Pokemon channel to. For example, an English game can work with English channel. Region does not matter. US games will work with this. The only region that does not work is Japanese. You're going to need Pokemon Channel European version. This is the only one that gives out a Jirachi. It also does it for the Australian version, so the PAL version in general, I should say. If you are in an NTSC region, aka the United States, Canada, Mexico, or Japan, you need a way to play PAL format games. I think the easiest way to do this is with a hacked Wii, but a freeloader GameCube disc also works, but they're getting pricey nowadays. You're going to need a GBA to GameCube link cable. This connects your GBA to the GameCube so you can receive the Jirachi. You're also going to need a GBA. This is because the Nintendo DS does not have a GBA link cable port. With all of this out of the way, we can move on to the first portion of the guide. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do is find our target seed or seeds. So to do that, you're going to open Pokefinder and click the GameCube tab. Then you're going to hit the Searcher tab within the GameCube tab. And for method, you're going to select channel. Don't worry about like a profile or anything. This is because the trainer ID and secret ID are generated Pokemon channel side. So it actually doesn't use your Ruby or Sapphire trainer ID at all. Here there's a bunch of different parameters. You can search for nature, gender. Well, there's no gender for Jirachi, but you can search for nature, shininess. It even lets you pick if you want a square shiny for Sword and Shield now. And it will let you type in the IVs that you want. If you just want a shiny, all you can do is just click any, and then you can hit the search button. I wouldn't recommend this because it will take a little bit to generate all of these spreads, but yeah. So it's going to be generating a lot of spreads, and I will pause when it's done. Okay, so once you've got your parameters set, as you can see, I did star square, and I set a small IV range. You're going to want to copy all of your seeds into XDSeed. The best way to do this is to output results into a CSV. So I'll just do that really quick on my desktop. A CSV is like sort of an Excel spreadsheet kind of format. So I use OpenOffice because I don't have Microsoft Word. That's fine. What you're going to want to make sure is that the seed column, which is this one right here, they are all separated accordingly, which is good. So you're going to hit OK. So as you can see, all of my seeds are in this column. I'm just going to right click and hit Control-C onto them. And then I'm going to go into XDSeed and paste them all into here. So you can have way more or way less seeds than this. It doesn't matter. XDSeed will take a lot. For this is the frame range. This is how long you're willing to wait. I'll get into this a little bit more later, but basically using the fastest frame advance method, about 10 million-ish frames is 24 hours. So I'm not usually willing to wait more than 20 million frames, which is 48 hours. So I usually just hit 2 and a bunch of zeros there, and then we can see from there. Okay, now that we have our target seeds potentially here, we're going to find our initial seed. Okay, so to find your initial seed, you're going to want to go into Gen 3 Tools, GameCube, and GameCube Seed Finder in Pokefinder, and then you're going to want to click the Channel tab. Now, after this, you're going to want to load up Pokemon Channel, and you're going to want to go straight into the Options menu. From the Options menu, you're going to want to back out to the title screen, and that's what these are. So these SNOC and ONSE, etc., this is the order that the title screen, like New Game, Options, Continue, and Special appear. They appear in a different order every single time, so you're going to have to click which one it is. N is for New Game, S is for Special, O is for Options, and C is for Continue. So that's what that means. All right, let's get that underway. So the first one is New Game, Options, Continue, Special. So we're going to click that, hit Add. And you have to do this 10 times. So it's New Game, Continue, Special, Options. Click it, click Add. Options, New Game, Special, Continue. Options, New Game, Special, Continue. All right, and hit Add. All right, that is New Game, Special, Options, Continue. Add. Continue New Game, Special, Options. All right, easy enough. And you just repeat this. New Game, Special, Options, Continue there. Special Options, Continue again. And we only need one more. Continue New Game, Options, Special. All right. And now you just hit the search button. Whoa, there it is. So sometimes it'll find the seed instantly, sometimes it won't. It's just whichever is the luckiest, I guess. So it'll ask you if you want to copy it to clipboard, and I suggest doing so. Okay, so with the seed copied to clipboard, you're going to go into XDSeed and paste your seed there. Okay, so as you can see, I have one result here, and that is 80,000 frames away. That's actually really close for a shiny frame, so that's pretty lucky. Most of the time, you'll get a shiny frame that's pretty close, so this isn't going to be more than a few minute wait. Now that we know how long or how many frames away we're going to have to be advancing, I'm going to talk about the different ways to advance the frame in this game. So the first method for frame advancement is watching the egg channel in the desert area, which advances around 112 frames per second while you're watching it. The second method for frame advancement is watching the egg channel in the pond area, which is about 103 frames per second. Now keep in mind, for either egg channel watching here, if the egg hatches while you're watching it, that consumes a large amount of frames, and you can't really control it, and it's not too consistent. So because of that, if you are watching for an extended period of time and multiple eggs could hatch, so as you can see, it tells you about how long at the top of the screen the egg will take to hatch. So in this case, I think it's going to be about 12 hours. If I had to do more than 12 hours of advancement, you would have to undershoot your target frame by quite a wide margin, just because you don't want those extra frames that are advanced while it's hatching to cause you to overshoot your target. So the final method is the report channel, which causes about 52 frames per second of advancement, and that's the last of the inconsistent method. There is a consistent method of frame advancement that you can do, but that is done when you have less than 5,000 frames from your target, and so I'll talk about it when we get into that scenario. Okay, so now that you know the ways to advance the frames quickly, and you know how far away your target is, we can actually do the RNG. So the first thing you're going to need to do is figure out which method of advancement is best for you. I'm going to be using the egg channel because 80,000 frames is only a few minutes in the egg channel, and the slowest it can be is if we paste the value into a calculator. The way you figure out how many seconds you have to wait, by the way, is paste how many frames away you are, and then divide it by the number of frames per second consumed. So in the desert channel, it's like 112. In the pond channel, it's 103. So we'll divide it by the slowest the egg channel can be. So 861 seconds, right? Versus divided by 52, 1700. So as you can see, it's more than double if we only use the report channel. So I just suggest using the egg channel. I use the report channel for smaller values, like smaller distances. On top of that, we're not going to want to get exactly on our target frame, right? And on top of that, the egg channel is like kind of inconsistent. Like 103 frames per second is how far it advances, but there are other ways that like the frame will be advancing, right? You're going to have to go to the report channel to quit out after you watch in the egg channel. The little Pikachu animations and stuff like that, they also consume some frames. Finding your new current seed will also consume some frames. So I like to undershoot by like 10,000, right? So this is how many we're going to be aiming for, and I'm going to divide this by 103. So this is how many seconds I have to wait. I usually just take this and I either put it on my phone timer, 764 seconds. If you want to know what that is in minutes, you can divide it by 60 again. So that's 12.7 minutes. You can also just go onto Google, and so like you can just like Control-C from the calculator. In Google, you can just paste and then type second timer, and then that was minutes, right? Minute timer, and then it'll tell you, like, because 12.7, it's like, you know, what is that, right? But Google knows 12 minutes 45 seconds. Now, if you don't know which egg channel you currently have playing, what I would suggest doing is figuring this out for both of them. So we'll do it again on another calculator. 88777 minus 10,000 divided by 1112 divided by 60. So then I would set up a second Google timer, and then I would just start whichever one it is whenever I see which egg channel it is that spawns. And so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to go into the egg channel now. Okay, so from the options menu, you just back out to the title screen, and then you click new, continue, don't click new game. And you just want to try and get to the egg channel as fast as possible. No like passive amount of frame advancement is happening here. But what is happening is this Pikachu animation consumes like a random amount of frames. It's never like a huge amount, but you can never know, and this kind of thing is so inconsistent. And you know, you don't want to waste time, right? You don't want to waste like time of your life doing this. So you're going to approach the TV, turn the TV on. It's on the report channel. That could be advancing frames. So we have to switch to the egg channel as fast as we can. And this is the kind of reason we're going to be wanting to undershoot our frame as far as possible. Again, I don't know which timer it is right now. So I just start both of them at this point. And then whichever one it shows up being. So I'm in the pond. I just stop the desert timer right now and I wait. And then I will cut back to you after my timer has ended. So with my timer about to end, I'm going to back out, switch channels, go to the report channel, and save. It's important to try and save as fast as possible when you get to the report channel, because you don't want any passive frames to be consumed by the report channel. It doesn't matter whether or not you actually save your game. I usually just click no just in case, unless I have a really long egg channel and I think that I'm going to have to be doing that again. Again, this animation also can use some frames up. You just have to be very careful with this kind of thing. And just want to minimize the amount of frames that are advancing, with the exception of when you want them to actually be advancing. Now at this point, we're going to go straight back into the options menu, and we're going to try and find our current seed, and the way you do that is the same exact way you found your initial seed. So just like last time, I'm going to back out to the menu here and watch how it goes. Special new game continue options. So that's special new game continue options and add. And we just have to do this 10 times again. And this will find our new current seed. Options new game special continue. There you And I'm just going to cut to when I'm done with this because I don't want to waste everybody's time. New game continue special options. There's nothing particular special about this. All right, so after I found all of this, I did my 10 entries. It popped up with my seed. As you can see, this time it took to 53%, so not a huge deal. What we're going to do then is go check in XDSeed. So in XDSeed, we're going to paste our current seed and hit search. So as you can see, I'm only 6,000 frames away. Now this is still not enough to use a smaller advancement method than report. There is a few options you have at this point. Because this is a very small amount of frames, right? But we don't want to overshoot our target for sure. But we also don't want to undershoot it greatly. So this Jirachi Advancer tool, you need to be within 5,000 frames of your target. However, you can at this point either A, go into the report channel for just a little bit, or B, you can spam going back in and out of the from options to the title screen a lot, and then after like 10, check your new current seed and see if you're within 5,000 frames, and you can rinse repeat that. What I'm going to be doing is, just to show an example, I'm going to be going into the report channel. So the report channel, I get very nervous about when I'm this close to my target. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. So we're going to do 6,100 here, which is the distance we're away. I'm going to try and undershoot it by like 600. I think it's usually consistent enough to do that. You might want to go more. You might want to undershoot it by like 1,000 or 2,000 or something like that, but we will see. So then you divide this by 52 because that's the frames per second that the report channel consumes. And then you're just going to do exactly what we did last time. Go into the game and pray, basically. Okay, so I'm going to back out and go to the report channel now. I like to set the report... So because the last channel I was on while the game was loaded was the report channel, it's probably going to be on the report channel when I turn the TV on. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes if like Pichu's watching like anime or whatever, it'll be on whatever anime channel Pikachu was on. So you have to pay attention to this animation. If Pikachu's watching the TV when you're not here, it'll be on a different channel than when you were last on it. But it wasn't, so it's probably on the report channel. I start the timer the second I turn the TV on, and I just wait. And remember, you can't wait while the report button is pushed, or else it won't advance any frames, really. Okay, so my timer's about done, so I'm going to back out of the report channel as fast as I possibly can. And we're just going to try and find our seed the same way as last time, our current seed. So this is no different than what we did before with the egg channel. Just be swift when you back out and go to find your current seed once you get to the title screen. Okay, so once again, you're just going to back out into the menu and find your current seed using this again. And again, I'm just going to cut it so I don't waste everybody's time with this refining. It's just do the same exact 10 things again. And yeah. Okay, so once it gives you your new seed, you can go ahead and paste it into XDSeed again and do a quick search. So as you can see, yeah, even though I aimed for under 600, I got only this much away, 273, which is really close. So, but luckily we're still well enough away, hopefully. So now that we're within 5,000, and again, that's all you have to be is within 5,000, you can open up Jirachi Advancer tool. So what you need to do is type your current seed into here. So E6F0D473, and then you're going to type your target seed, which is this one over here in XDSeed. So it's 339EA17A. And then what it's going to do is tell you how many actions that you have to do in order to go back to the to get to your Jirachi. Now, as you can see here, there's only 2 options showing for me, which is reload menu and accept the Jirachi. However, there's actually 4 potential possibilities here. There's reload menu, which means from the, now, and again, all of these are going to be assumed to be happening from the options menu, okay? So you're already in the options menu. Reload menu means go from the options menu to the title screen and then go back into the options menu. As you can see, I have to do that 33 times. The other options are special, which is go back to the title screen, and then there's the little special option that plays a Meowth cutscene, right? Once that cutscene loads, you're going to instantly go to the quit option, and then it's going to reload the title screen, and then you go back into the options menu. That's what that one is. The last one, besides accept Jirachi, is reject Jirachi. Reject Jirachi just means from the options menu, click the Jirachi button, and then when Professor Oak asks you if you would like to have the Jirachi sent to your game, you're going to say no. And then it'll go back, and you'll get back to the title screen, and then you're going to want to go into the options menu from there. The most frequent one you're going to get is the reload menu one. So you probably won't have to worry about the other two, but just in case. So with that out of the way, all you have to do is do the title advances. So I'm going to do that. Again, I'm only going to show like one or two or whatever, but it's not that big of a deal. It's really easy to do. And at that point, you just have to accept the Jirachi. And remember, it does it in order. So 1 reload menu, so 34. So after I do the menu 33 times, the 34th thing that I do is going to be accepting the Jirachi. I don't know if I can read. Yeah, I can't resize this window really, but that's fine. Now again, the only way you can use this is if you're within 5,000. The problem is when you're, let's say you're exactly within 5,000 away, you're going to have to do a lot of reload menus, right? So I would recommend getting to a much closer frame, because even 34 or 33 reload menus is a little bit tedious. At this point, you just have to receive the Jirachi. I've done my 33 reload menus, and it's really simple at this point. I'm not really going to talk too much. All that's going to happen is you're just going to see a video of me going into the Jirachi here and accepting it both on my Game Boy and the perspective from the GameCube. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. There's also going to be a written guide. I don't know if it's going to be up at the same time as this video, but hopefully the written guide will be out soon as well. Hopefully everyone enjoys this, and thanks so much for watching. As Professor Oak would say, excellent, take good care of Jirachi, I'll see you later, and please consider subscribing.